Let's face it, life is expensive, and saving for retirement has never been harder. As a financial planner, I talk to people in their 50s and 60s every day who have grinded for 30, 40 years to get to retirement. And what I've found is that people who manage to retire a bit earlier than others aren't necessarily earning more, they're just spending a whole lot less in the right places. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 6 expenses that could be holding you back from saving for retirement and some strategies to help reduce them. The first expense holding you back is housing. Now, I get it. Depending on where you live here in Canada, housing is exponentially more expensive than anything else you're spending money on. In fact, your mortgage payments or your rent payments could be upwards of 60 to 80% of what you bring home on a weekly or monthly basis. That's a lot of money. So housing for most of you is definitely the number one expense you have in your life. So how do we manage that a little bit better? Well, I was talking to someone not too long ago that were renting a place. Their end goal was to purchase something. They wanted to own property as they walked into retirement. They were about 10 years from retirement. Now, they were renting a 3-bedroom condo and felt like it was a little bit too big for them anyway. Like they didn't have any kids at home anymore. It was just the two of them. And they had more space and they were spending more money than they felt they could have. So what they did is they ended up moving to a 1-bedroom. So not only did they reduce the size that they were renting, thus reducing their rent costs, but they also went on a saving rampage. They went and saved every single dime they could. They cut out every discretionary spending they could for 1 year. What they did is they saved a down payment in that period of money that they were spending on rent and were spending to just miscellaneous stuff that weren't getting them ahead. They took that money and they built enough of a nest egg to put that as a down payment and actually purchase a 1-bedroom condo that is a perfect fit for them long term. Now they have a goal and a plan to pay that place off in the next 10 years. So they're going to walk into retirement owning the place absolutely debt free and in a much better position. But the key is they made a sacrifice from their 3-bedroom to the 1-bedroom to save on rental costs. And they went like deep down into saving, structure, have a budget for a full year. And they were able to save that down payment. So again, they made that sacrifice. And so for a lot of you, as you get closer to retirement, or maybe you're a bit younger and you're saving up for a house, or you're not sure, like, how do I manage, maybe you have a bigger family and you need to upsize. Like housing costs for most of you is very, very high. And so think of ways that you could manage that. Maybe you can buy a house, but that has a rental suite. So my wife and I did that. We actually bought the basement or 1/3 of a full house. So her sister and brother-in-law, they had 1 kid at the time. We bought 1/3 of that house, and that was our entry point into real estate here in BC. And then from there, we sold our 1/3 back to them about 1.5 years later, and we bought a single detached house. Now, that detached house had a rental suite, a carriage suite in the back, and in the basement I was able to use for my business at that time. And then from there, we moved again with rental income. So we've always been able to kind of move up in the real estate chain, but with help of rental income and making some sacrifices. And so if you're looking like, how do I get into the real estate market, or what do I do with my home? A lot of you are heading into retirement and your place is too big, right? You have too much space, you have too much land. Maybe it's a downsize. Well, one of the problems with downsizing housing in retirement is it gives you a lot of cash. For some of you, perfect, that gets you to retirement. But for some of you, it's actually a tax issue. Now you got all this non-registered money. You have OAS clawback. So again, these are planning tools that you need to sit down and work through with your financial planner to figure out what is the best solution for you. But we're definitely in a climate right now. If you're sitting on the sidelines renting and you're not sure, should I own? Do I want to own? We're probably in a market still where renting is still cheaper than buying. And that flops back and forth. Currently, I would say renting is not a bad place to be. Now, if you can own a home into retirement, it definitely does give you a bit of cost certainty, a bit of a buffer. But again, you don't want to kind of extend your retirement 5 or 10 years just to own a house. Like, I think we live in a world where home ownership has this, stigma around it where it's like, well, you own a home, so you're in a good financial position. Look, I deal with a ton of people that do not own a home, do not own real estate, and they are in a fantastic financial position, and they rent. And especially for a lot of you that are looking to spend a lot of months outside of Canada in retirement, owning may not make the most sense. So again, figure out what the best solution is for you. But to reduce some costs, look to rent, look to downsize, look to maybe move out of the main area. Like again, I'm in Langley, about an hour outside of Vancouver. If I moved to Vancouver, the house that I live in would be double the cost, right? A lot of people are moving east out of Vancouver. I know out of Toronto, people are moving outward from there. You can get a lot more for a lot less. Again, I get it. It may be further from work, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot that goes into those decisions. But think about your housing and how you can reduce costs there. The second big expense, and this drives me crazy because I talk to a lot of people and they say, look, Adam, we're in a great situation. We're getting ready for retirement. We have no debt other than, which kind of is counterintuitive. If you have no debt, you have no debt. But it's always, I have no debt other than my car payment. And my car payment's $700, $1,000, $1,500 a month. And that's on top of their gas, insurance, everything else. Like that vehicle is costing them a small mortgage. And so my goal for each and every one of you watching this video, doesn't matter your age, stage of life, when you go purchase a vehicle, pay cash. If you are unable to pay cash for the vehicle, you cannot afford the vehicle. Don't go buy it. Go buy something cheaper, buy something used, whatever it is. If you have to take a loan or make a lease payment on a vehicle, you likely can't afford it. Now, you might say, no, Adam, like I can't afford it. I do it for my business. I get a car budget for this. Look, I have family members that have jobs that get really good car budgets and they still buy used cars that they can pay cash. They take their car budget, they use it for other things and for savings, and they're smart with their money, and they're going to retire a lot earlier than people that they work with that are using their car budget for brand new vehicles every 2 to 3 years. So if I can give you one really good piece of financial advice, especially as you build up and ramp up to retirement, pay cash for vehicles. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. So often we put together retirement plans for people and they literally have to delay their retirement by a year or two because of the car payments. Look, if you're making $1,000, $1,500 car payment every single month and you have 4 years left and you're retiring in 2, that means that you have 2 years into retirement car payments at $1,500 a month. Like, that's a lot of money for most retirees. So as you lead up to retirement, or maybe you have kids that are looking at buying cars, whatever the age and stage of life, stay away from car payment. Even if it's a 0% car payment, don't do it. Just pay cash. I get it. The numbers make sense. Do 0%, take my money, get a few percent, et cetera, et cetera. The problem is it doesn't work out that way. Just pay cash for your vehicle and move on. The third big expense you need to look to get rid of is your high interest debt. It amazes me how many people are carrying credit card debt at 19, 20 plus percent. And their interest payments alone are delaying their retirement. It's crippling their financial position. And all because they're buying stuff typically that they don't need and can't afford. And again, kind of ties into the car payment, right? They have car payments, they have credit card debt typically. Look, if you're buying stuff on credit and you're unable to pay that credit card off, you shouldn't be buying it. Now, again, there's going to be a small handful of you watching this video that are in a very tough financial position, and you're literally buying only this, the food that you need to feed yourself, kids, family, whatever it is, and you're just in a tough stage of life. I'm not talking about you. Again, I think there's better solutions to try and figure out how to manage that debt. There's organizations that can help you with that, so I'd say reach out to them. But for the majority of you that are watching this video, if you are carrying credit card debt, you need to take a step back, revisit your budget, where your spending is going. You have spending issues that need to be addressed. Again, when I talk about retirement being financial and psychological, someone carrying a credit card debt, that's typically a psychological issue. It's not a financial issue. Yes, it's turned into a financial issue, but it's a psychological issue. So deal with the root cause of it. What is causing you to put money to spend on that credit card, to not be able to pay it off? Because I meet many people with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on their credit card. And their monthly interest payment alone is more than most of you will be paying on your mortgage payments. That person is never going to be able to retire. And sure, they could get to a point where they can pay off the credit card. But again, it's typically a lifestyle thing. Get to the root cause. If you're carrying credit card debt, there is a root issue that you need to deal with. So I encourage you, talk to your financial planner. There's money coaches out there. Like there's people out there that you can reach out to. Maybe it's just a counselor, a pure counselor. Doesn't have to do anything with money or financial planning. It's just counseling. Maybe you have a shopping issue, whatever it is. We all have something. But if it's causing you to go into credit card debt, you need to deal with it because it's going to be kind of pounding you down, delaying your retirement, and really a thorn in your side for the rest of your life. So let's take a step back and deal with it now. The fourth expense you need to look at and possibly cut out is discretionary spending. And now, I'm not saying change your lifestyle or don't enjoy life, but for a lot of you, we're spending too much now and not focusing on the future. And I have friends, family, people around me that do this all the time. Like they literally live life to the fullest. And that's great. Don't get me wrong. You should travel, enjoy life, do all that kind of stuff. But they have $0 saved for future them. And there's going to be a point in time where they put their head up and say, oh crap, I messed this one up. I should have taken a little bit from my discretionary spending, my fun travel money, whatever it is, still done some of it, but not all of it. And taking some of that and put it over here. And over time, all those years, that money could have been growing, compounding for me, working for me, right? So I'm not saying cut out all your discretionary spending. I just think a lot of you are putting too much money to that and not enough money for future you. I've told this story a few times on this channel, but I had a client many years ago, and every February, March, he'd phone me and say, Adam, I need $10,000 out of the RSP again. We're going on another family trip. And the first year I thought, you know what? Not a great idea, but it is what it is. But it kept happening year after year. And finally I said, you know what? Like you are costing your retirement. And he goes, I don't even care. I want to enjoy life with my kids while they're young. And while in theory that makes sense, and I get to have young kids, I like to go traveling with them, enjoy, create memories, all that kind of stuff. That client, no longer a client, is now mid to late 60s, and he has zero save for retirement. He spent it all earlier. He's going to have to literally work for life. And so again, could there have been a bit more of a balance between that? I tried as best I could. Again, there's going to be people out there you just can't get the message across to. But hopefully, hearing it in videos like this again and again and again, that the message gets across. Like enjoy life now, but make sure you're saving for the future. Like if you want to retire one day, you do have to save something for that. A couple tips to cut out discretionary spending. First off, look at your current spending. Like, do you have subscriptions that you aren't using? A lot of you have Netflix at 24 bucks a month or whatever it is now. It's crazy. And you're watching it like 2 or 3 times a month. Cut it out for 6 months or 12 months, right? Or maybe you have a show you really like to watch on Netflix or Disney or whatever you're watching, but that show's only on for 3 or 4 months a year. Cancel it for the other months. I canceled something the other day and I got an email saying, hey, we saw that you canceled it. It was like 25 bucks a month. It wasn't Netflix. It was something else. But it was, you know, we want to keep you as a client. I know you're paying 25, but you can stay on for another 6 months and we'll only charge you $5 a month and then you can go back to your 25, right? So you never know what the offers could come in. Another area to cut discretionary spending, and it's helped out our family a lot over the last couple of years, is food delivery. So we do all of our ordering online. And when I say we, I mean my wife. She does all the food ordering online and it's a big job. But we don't walk into grocery stores anymore. Or very limited at least. So we order from Superstore here in Langley and we have it delivered right to our door. But what happens that way then is my wife creates a list, obviously, what we want to cook the next week. She orders it, it comes. But you're not wandering aisles, oh, I want this, oh, I want this. Standing in line, oh, grab that, grab that. $5, $10, $20, $50 every single week, over 52 weeks, it gets very expensive. And so if you can cut out some of that discretionary spend, like where are you dropping that extra $5 or $10 every week? Is it a bit of a habit? Again, it might be at the grocery store, right? Every time you walk down a certain aisle, it's like, let's try that this week, right? So online grocery shopping for us has helped save hundreds of dollars every month just on discretionary spending. Again, we have 4 little kids. You bring kids into a grocery store, guess what they're doing? They're going down the snack aisle, grabbing everything they want to try. Whereas if we order it for them, we know what they like, we know what they don't like, it saves us a lot of money. So that's something to consider as far as how to reduce some discretionary spending that you're currently not really even thinking about. Like those little $5, $10 things, they add up over time. If we could allocate that into savings, that's an extra $50 a month, let's say, maybe $100, $150. into savings, compound that over the next 10 or 15, 20 years for retirement, you have a bit of a nest egg there. So these small little decisions that you're making could be delaying your retirement by 6, 12, 24 months. The sixth expense you need to look at is helping your adult kids. And I think helping your kids out is a great thing. I think most people should do it if they're able to financially without costing their own retirement. But I'm seeing this trend where kids are at home longer. They're living off mom and dad longer. And I get it, real estate's expensive. Like, where do they go? But there is a point where you have to cut the cord. You have to let them go. You have to let them find their way and be adults. And sure, you can continue to help them a little bit, but a lot of you watching this video, you're helping them too much. And again, I talk about this all the time. I think inheritances to your kids while you're living, while they're younger, helping them out, uberly important. Like, if you want to create generational wealth, help your kids out when they actually need help. Don't pass money to them when you're 90, when you pass away and they're 70. Like, that does nothing for generational wealth. So I'm all for helping your kids and your grandkids, all for it. But I think a lot of you are helping your kids too much to the point where it's actually delaying your retirement. Like, you're making too much of a sacrifice to help your kids, play video games all day and not go get a proper job. And like, you're enabling them. And so there is a point where you just need to say, look, go get an education, go get a job, go rent a place, find some buddies to rent it with. Figure out life. You're not on mom and dad's bank account anymore. You have 12 months, 24 months to figure it out. We'll follow up, give us a report, help them out as needed, but you need to get them on the way. And I talk to many of you that have kids in your late 20s, into your 30s. The other day, a kid in their 40s still living at home. And again, there's situations where that has to happen, where there's health issues or whatever it is. But I'm talking about these people that are just lazy. They're not getting out into the real world and getting a job. And at some point as a parent, you have to help them out so that you can one day retire and enjoy life as well. The sixth and final area to save some money as you lead up to retirement, it's actually kind of 2 in 1 here. It's your insurance and utility bills. So let's cover insurance first. I'm talking about life insurance. A lot of you carry life insurance up to retirement. When you hit retirement, the likelihood that you need insurance is actually quite small. And again, work through your retirement plan with your financial planner to see if there is an insurance need. For a very small portion of you, there will be. And insurance can be a very valuable tool. But for most of you, you don't need insurance. So the premium that you've been paying, maybe it's $50, $100, $300 a month, that can go away and that can be used to enjoy in retirement. Again, some of your other insurances, car insurance, house insurance, you pay a lot of money every year for insurances, both on yourself and on property and items that you own. Review that stuff. I know here in BC, we have ICBC for our car insurance. It's a terrible program. You got to pay into it. I've never had an accident, knock on wood, for my whole life. Yet I pay an arm and a leg for my insurance on my Tesla. And it's because I guess Teslas are owned by a lot of people that are younger here. There's a lot of accidents. I don't get it. But at the end of the day, I've now started to shop third-party insurers. So we have ICBC as a core insurance, but we can get our collision, comprehensive, etc. through third parties. Again, your house insurance. When was the last time you actually shopped around your house insurance? The prices can be drastically different. So look at and review the premiums that you're paying on all of your insurances and see if you can save $10, $20, $100 on a monthly basis. Because it's out there, it's possible. The other area to negotiate would be your utility bills. Now, I get it. Power, water, all this stuff, a lot of it's non-negotiable. But what about your TV, your internet, your cell phone? My wife and I, we just renegotiated our cell phones and we cut out about $60 every single month. We have a new phone, we have a better plan, and I'm saving $60 a month. Again, it was just a promotion they had on. It worked out well. We were able to take advantage of it. But again, these are out there all the time. I know the internet, we're going to look to switch internet as well. We'll save another $35 a month. So now we've saved almost $100 a month, $1,200 a year just by making small and just asking, right? It never hurts to ask for a discount. A lot of these big carriers, they want your business. I've been with TELUS for like 20 something years and they'll still, hey, we'll give you that deal. I know Rogers is doing it, so we'll do it for you. It doesn't hurt to ask. A lot of these companies will save you an extra 5, 10, 15 just by asking. Hey, can you give me a discount on this? Or I did this over here. Someone's offering it over here. So again, as you review your insurances, your utility bills, even again, your Netflix, your Disney, these bills, you have a lot of bills that you could cut out $100, $200, $300 a month. And if you're still ramping up for retirement, that could be a big number as far as now let's put that $200 or $300 a month into savings, let's grow it over time, let it compound. That's going to be big money as you enter retirement, more spending money, more travel money, or whatever it is that you want to build up for. So as you ramp up for retirement, I think a lot of the focus is on income. Like we want to grow our income. And as you get closer to retirement, for a lot of you, you're in your highest income years, right? And we're always focused on making more, making more, making more. But a lot of us aren't kind of reversing it and saying, well, what are we spending it on? Like how much money are we actually throwing out the door to expenditures that we don't need? And for a lot of you that I meet on a daily basis, it's hundreds to thousands of dollars every single month that you could trim back without changing your lifestyle. And so I encourage you, go through these 6 expenses that I talked about today and see where you can reduce, save money, not change your lifestyle or your world or anything like that, but just have simple savings here and there that add up to a big number that will put you in a better position for retirement. Either you'll have more or you'll be able to retire earlier. So thanks for joining us in this video. If you need help with your retirement plan, putting this together, mapping stuff out, figuring out, am I on track? You can learn more about our fee-for-service financial planning at parallelwealth.com/planning. We have our pricing, sample plans, all the details are on our website, so check that out. We'll see you in the next video.